Welcome everyone to Marv and Frank, next edition of True Crime Unsolved Squad. We got Randy as
Also
a
known
guest,
as Marvelous Investigates right now.
and we got Detective Steve on the line with us also, people. All right.
Steve, Randy, how are you tonight?
Doing great. How's
Doing
everyone
great. Glad to be here.
Can y'all see my face even better now?
Frank is floating
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah.
I got Frankenstein in the background, y'all.
What's up, Grizz? Stephanie's laughing at you.
Hey, got to change it up a little bit, guys. Make it interesting.
Oh, yeah. Riggedy Susan. Hey. Rosewood. Kathy S. Thank you. Big hello to Frank Meister. It's good to see you all. Ronnie for Missing Persons PNW, welcome to our team as our newest moderator.
Cool.
And let's see here. Oh, there's a name, Nadia. How are you tonight?
Hi, Nadia. I support with
Jen
Steffa,
TCL.
Jill, Digital, Lollipop, Boston, Kathy S.,
Sweet Caroline.
Jean, yep.
Sweet Caroline.
Welcome, everyone. Moto.
Yeah.
Want to shout out to Grismatically Clever and Support with Steffa, two of our newer mods also. Thank you for being here. Sean, nice to see you. Best team on the YouTube channels. Oh, thank you so much.
Lynn's not going to be
And
able to be
Boston.
here tonight. Lynn will not be here tonight. I spoke with her earlier. She had doctor's appointments, and she didn't get much sleep last night because they put her on a PAP machine, and she didn't sleep at all, she said.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hi, Digital. How are you doing? Melissa, Judy, Sweet Caroline. That first night on the CPAP machine is tough.
Oh,
I remember when I got tested. I didn't sleep a whole lot either.
There's my face. Even better.
So what's on the agenda for tonight? Is it or is it not an altered state? Question mark, part 2? Your screen is black, Christian. Not sure why.
it's probably your lighting's not lit up like usually.
Oh, yeah. It's actually sunny outside. So the sun is coming through the shade when it normally doesn't. So I'm kind of dark here. I'll move around a little bit more and then the camera will catch me.
Hello, Spirit Ocean. How are you?
What is the question mark?
All right. Ready to dive into it?
Yep. I'm ready when you guys are.
All right. Well, let's get Steve involved here and explain what he did on part 2 of BG Uncovered.
Okay, guys, I'm glad you're with us tonight. In our first part, we talked about that there was some digital editing done to the right hand, right arm area. And if there is digital editing, there has to be a reason. And that's what this video is about. Why would they do digital editing? If there's nothing there, then of course we're dead wrong that there was no digital editing. So what I did, just dedicated quite a few hours of my time trying to determine exactly why they would edit the lower right arm and the hand area to hide whatever is being hidden. And so with that being in mind, if Marv, if you'll pull up figure 1.
Yep, sharing my screen. It'll take a sec.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Everybody recognizes that this is Bridge Guy. The right arm from his elbow down to his where the lip area right above his pocket, everybody recognizes and or tries to identify as that's his right arm. Of course, that is the area of the right arm, and it is probably a captured or a animated right arm to edit out something. And for our theory to be true, there has to be something happening in that area all the way down to where the fanny pack is. And so if you go to the number 2 slide, that as you see from right to left, of course, the image appears to be altered and everything, the fanny pack area. But we're going to be paying attention to his leg areas on this one. That at some moments, his left leg crotch area is in shade, and then at times the left leg becomes illuminated. And when the left leg becomes illuminated, I observed something that was part of my training that indicated something that needed to be looked at more closely. If you go to the 3rd slide. If you look down in the crotch area on the left thigh, down below where it's a normal shade line, there's this area. This area only pops in for just, I think, 11 frames, and then it disappears. It comes in and disappears. What created that shadow? Part of my training in law enforcement, I was a counter sniper. We were trained to identify and gather intel on scenes and what was happening inside of houses. And we studied shadows. We had shadow identifications of different weapon systems, different types of edge weapons. And so we had to identify even the approach of someone coming from a shadow area, crossing a lighted hallway or passing between a light and someplace where a shadow would cast, that we had to identify certain things at certain times. And so that being part of my training, and it assisted me in many areas, even in my investigative part of my career, that when you're looking at these still images, you find certain things and you have to identify what they are. Sometimes your starting point is going to be something as simple as what this shadow is. All right. This shadow effect, you can start moving to slide 4. That during these few frames, 11 frames, starting somewhere around frame 25, if you go to what Fig sent me, there's a set of 47 frames that made up this video. Around frame 25, the shadow pops out. And it's only in there for about 11 frames, which is going to be somewhere around, if the video was made at 30 frames per second, so we're looking at a third of a second, that this shadow popped out there, that you can see before the leg movement moves back into the shade and you lose the outline of this shadow area. But you can move through frame 5, 6. 5 is frame 26, 6 is frame 29. You just move on through all the way to frame 20, slide 9 for me. You stop at slide 9. You can just move through as you go and point out the shadow.
It's harder to point out here.
Yes. Is that number 9?
This is 7.
Okay. And then, yeah, some of them were crisp, some of them weren't. Go to number 8, which is frame 31. Very clear. This is the one I used for my control test. But then it continued on the frame 32 and onward, but they got blurred out. But
All right, here's number 9.
okay, and that was the final really clear one of all the images during those between frame 25 and 36. During those 11 frames, those are the best frames that showed clearly an outline of something that was in the cast by something along the angle of where the sun is positioned in the sky from where the digital editing cast across the body and created this shadow. All right. So what I did with this shadow is that I had to determine what is the angle from where the sun position is to where this shadow was created. And which is simply, if you go to slide 10. You can blow it up a little bit. Simply what I did is I went from the center of the shadow, went up somewhere to where the image was altered up there, just picked a point and found out it's somewhere around 58 degrees. And taking that 58 degrees of where the sun would have to be to cast that shade, that there's calculators out there that you can tell what time of day this shadow was created. Verify when bridge guy was on the bridge just from this one image. All right, if you go to slide 11, blow it up. Slide 11 is just like slide 10, but it just when I went in there and found the angle of sun above horizon, I created it, made this slide just so people could understand. With this knowledge of that the sun angle was 58 degrees above horizon, that some of your calculators out there to tell exact time of day or set the parameters of when this image could have been created, you can go out there and just type in solar azimuth and time, and it will pull up some calculators for you. All right, you'll go to image or slide 12. And blow it up. So when you put this 58 degrees on a compass with headings and stuff, it'll tell you what the azimuth is. Azimuth was 327 plus or minus degrees. And the reason I did this is that the calculator I used was one that had versus angles. It had azimuth of where the sun is above the horizon to tell what time of day that shadow was cast. If you go to 13, all right, and blow it up. With this digital alter section of the video image I was using, there was a broad range of where that angle could set. So I just did a guesstimate from the center, but if you blow it up and go to the bottom of this azimuth, that when I enter in the coordinates of Delphi and the positioning, it'll tell me what azimuth the sun is setting at. And you'll see it's setting anywhere that's from like at 130 at 300, or I believe you can read it probably better than I can. I've got it small right now.
1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m.
All right, and so that's and I did that just from to set the parameters of where was whatever created that image that was digitally edited out, where it would be positioned in his right hand. Okay, and I also did this for the fact that if I'm going to be creating controls tests, so I can determine what was in the right hand or possibly determine what was in the right hand, I had to make sure that the angle, so that when I create my test models and my controls, I can put my alternate light sources at the right angle above so that I can cast the exact same shadow line on my model. So I went and created a model, whereas if I put certain things located slightly above the waistline, above the right hip, alongside the body, along the 58 degrees of where the sun was above horizon, that it would cast a similar shadow along the crotch area and onto the left leg. All right, so let's go to my next slide, slide number 14. Okay, this here is slide 14. In my model, you can see in the lower right-hand side, you see where my jeans are. I created a cardboard shadow creator that would create something similar to what Bridge Guy was, and to cast where these shadows are. I took my alternate light source and set, this here is a Smith & Wesson 38 snub nose revolver, and along that angle, you can see where it casts into the same area. If you would, you can go down to the crotch and the left thigh area and show that shadow. There you go. All right, you can go to the next slide. This shadow was created by a Smith & Wesson 357 revolver, and did the same thing. I left the light source at the same angle so that in the natural holding position of a weapon slightly above the hip and alongside the body, this is where the muzzle would cast a shadow. All right, you can go to the next slide. This is a Smith & Wesson 380 semi-auto. You see that all the guns, regardless of what type of gun it is, all of them held in that same position, which is all locked. I never changed anything other than put the gun in that same natural position, and it casts a shadow in the same area each time. You can go to the next one. Is this in slide 18, Martha?
Yep.
Okay.
No, this is 17.
Oh, 17?
This is 17. Yep.
Okay. This is a Taurus 22 revolver that created this shadow effect. Now you can go to 18.
There's your Glock.
No, this 18 is a Kel-Tec 9mm.
Oh.
Okay.
This is a semi-auto. If you go to 19, this here is a Beretta 92 semi-auto shadow effect. Then on the last one is on 20, and blow that up. This here is one that I determined that was extremely close. So it had the same box, block design, same shadow effect. This is a Glock 19 9mm, but there's a lot of frames and a lot of guns out there that may hold the same design. I'm not saying that Bridge Guy had this type of gun, but he has some type of gun that would create a shadow that would have this box design in this area, being held in this natural position above the right hip. If you go to slide 21,
Okay.
this is some edge weapons. I threw them in for good measure just in case, because some of the times when you're doing these controls, you're surprised by what you find and what you see.
Right.
That's why you do them. You got to compare something to make sure that you're not just, throwing out wild theories. You got to have something to base fact upon. And so now if you go to 22, this is what a knife being held in that same position, naturally above the right hip, alongside the body, it casts a very pointed silhouette of a knife. Nothing like what we see on Bridge Guy's shadow. All right. Also, if you go to 23 now, this is what a box cutter looks like, held in that same position. I just throw them in there for good measure to make sure and see what it is. All right, so now if we go to 24. '24 is simply just giving you that this is what is a good, that you can see once again clearly what that design and what that shadow casts during those 11 frames, one of the clearest frames of what that shadow is. Now, if you go to slide 25, you can blow that area up for us. All right, you can see I did a side-by-side comparison that from where she has the cursor, that they're both similar box design. And like I said, it was just popped out there for a second or two. And the reason I did this, like I said, is that I'm trying to identify what possibly could be hidden in the shadows. And after I identified that it's possibly a gun, I went back at the 40, I think it's 47 frames of the video, and I started looking at, okay, if it's held in his right hand, is there a frame somewhere in those 47 where I might possibly see where he's drawing a weapon or holding a firearm in his right hand. And if you'll pull up slide 26. All right, you can blow it up there. If you go from the bright spot right here, what everybody commonly describes as that's his right hand, where it's really lit, this is part of the digital auditing. This is a set image, set layer that was put over to hide whatever movement of when he pulled that gun, drawed that gun, and presented that gun, that they put this image over and then they blurred out what people refer to as fanny pack, shirt, otherwise. If you go over to the left of it, where the skin tone is, a little bit more left, right there. When I saw that image, I said, that's a hand. That skin tone, that's what I would consider a hand. And I looked just inside where the grip would be, that there's a dark area, just up and down through there. And so I started working on this area. I worked on it, and all I did was I did some captures, did a couple of transparency overlays, did some filtering, and if you take us to slide 27. Slide 27 is where that on the left side of the screen, you can see a bright area of Bridge Guy's hand. And I made an image of me holding a gun in a similar angle, in a similar grip, with a similar, best I could guess, type of firearm, a semi-automatic. Is it a semi-automatic? I'm not saying it's a Glock 19. Don't know exactly what model gun it is. But anyway, if you look up here where she has the cursor now, that's the back of my hand along the back of the gun, and where my thumb would go across the back strap of the gun and a natural grip. If you'll follow that along where Bridge Guy, same thing, on the back of his hand, still on the back of his hand. Now she's going down the finger line of what a natural grip would be on a gun along the finger line. You can come to mine and show them the same area, the natural hand grip, and then come down the finger line. I did 2 tests on this with me. I had one time as people that have training with firearms, when they grab a gun, present a gun, or they pull a gun out, they won't put their finger on a trigger. And so this here, the best look is that the exact image is that this guy draws a gun and instantly put his finger on the trigger within the trigger guard. If I naturally put it out as what most professional handlers of guns do, they don't put their finger on the trigger, but this guy did at this moment. I don't know if his intention was that he was instantly going to fire, or it's just that he's not well trained. Don't know. But if you'll bring it over to where the slide area of my gun is and run the cursor down the black slide. Where have your cursor there, Mark?
Ah, wrong picture.
Okay. Just run it all the way down to the tip of the barrel. Okay. Now go over there to bridge guy and run it from the back of the gun all the way down to the muzzle there where it first lightens, back and forth. And so I created the same angle, and I just did this to make it easy for people to see what's was digitally edited out. But that's pretty much all that I have of what it took me some hours of dedicated time to present to you. And if you have any questions, I'm ready for them.
All right, here's one right away for you. Why did they hide the gun?
5 years ago, they didn't want. There's a lot of possibilities why they may hide a gun. Is it panic, or is it that during the first part of the investigations? If this was the first year of it, I would not be giving this information out. If this was the second year, I would not be talking about this because during those critical first times, the bad guy, bridge guy, may be the only one that knows exactly what type of gun or what it was he had in his hand. We're 5 years later, guys, and the reason I went through a lot of asking myself, and I went, and if you ever talk to Fig, he'll tell you that me and him hashed it out over the internet, emails for most of a night of why, it's 5 years later. We have to bring focus that's 5 years later, and can we jog somebody's memory that someone 5 years ago may have bought Uncle Joe or whoever some ammo for Christmas, may have bought him a gun for Christmas, may have gotten a gun after February the 13th from somebody that matches. And so there's a lot of compelling reasons 5 years later when this thing is cold, and that we need to bring attention that this fellow does have the ability to have access to a firearm. It was a tough decision, and I'll live with that decision. For whatever, but I believe it was important that we bring focus onto this to get people out there talking about it, that they might remember somebody with a gun that fits Bridge Guy's description. But
Yep.
why would the police edit it out? There's a lot of reasons. Like I said, they edited out some of the stuff that they didn't want law enforcement to be considered as a person of interest. They wanted, for whatever reason, they have determined at that point that it was more critical just to let people focus on his walk and his talk, not on his gun. And I can see where that would take away from that everybody's looking at the gun versus his walking and talking.
All right, I got a question for RJ Primary. That's really wild, and I have a question. Another place in the image, blurs make everything wider. When you account for blurs, does it change your opinion in general of the type of gun?
Like I said, they can be artifacts in images and stuff. And, if I had the absolute best image, I'm working from things that's been altered. Most definitely law enforcement, they probably can almost tell you exactly what model and gun it is from what they have. What I'm having to work with and having to go back in and filter out and look at this stuff. Some of these artifacts I'm having to work through. No, it doesn't change my opinion of what it is. I just may not know exactly what model and style of gun it is.
Okay, let's see here. So Vid Inquiries had asked, is that the real picture of BG? Yes. So
Yes.
this picture,
Anyone can go out there and look at the videos. I have no control of these images. Fig Newton sent me the images, which I give him utmost credit, and I thank him every day when I'm doing my work, that I'm not having to go out there and capture images from a video, that he had access and he knew where they were at. I mean, I've only been working on this case about 6 weeks. And so I don't have the database that some of you guys have been out here working on this case since the beginning, that y'all have active cases and y'all have links and you know where stuff's sitting out there. And so this stuff is sitting out there. You know, these shadows have been in existence on this video since day one. And I just happened to be able to look at it from my training and identify what it is.
Stephanie says this research needs to be shared far and wide. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Sammy says,
we've had several people come to us and said that no one has ever done any work like this in 5 years when it comes to forensic work. So
I meant the one earlier with the clear close-up. Are you talking about this one?
The clearest close-up, if they're talking about, is
the one that shows his finger around the trigger guard.
Oh. So this
there
one.
you go. Yeah.
So yes. Steve, did you say that Ellie probably knows what kind of gun it is?
I would think so. I would hope so, because they knew, like I said, the digital editing didn't occur unless there was something there, and they knew what was there. And is this a gun that is commonly used in law enforcement? That may be a possibility. That may be a reason they edited it out, that they didn't want a certain type of gun. Is it a gun that's used commonly in that area by law enforcement? Don't know. I don't know what it is. But I would think that if with the technologies that they have, I believe that they would know within a make or model more than likely. But I'm speculating on that. Because like I said, we still don't know what law enforcement has to work with. I know what I'm having to work with, but I don't know what they're having to work with.
Yeah.
Right. Sean says, could this man be a humane officer? I would say this man could be anybody. Humane.
Or
Security
Hunter.
guard.
sir.
Security guard. Yeah. I mean, anybody who has a gun, basically.
Yeah.
So it could be anybody.
Let's make it clear that the image on the to the left-hand side of the screen is Bridge Guy. The image on the right, where it is clearly a gun, is me. I've created the image on the right side of your screen to illustrate the same grip and to illustrate what a gun looks like in that grip tilted at that angle. The image to the right is not Bridge Guy. That is me. I don't want people to think that I was able to develop that clear of an image from
This is Steve. This is Steve. This one here is Steve. This is Bridge Guy.
Now we've got a question. Somebody wants to know what kind of pistols commonly used for LE these days, Steve.
I'm sure there's studies out there, but I know that Glock. I was issued 3 of them towards the end of my career. We transitioned, I think, around '92 from revolvers, and we went through Smith, Beretta, and then Glock came along on the scene. And Glock is, they have a great marketing strategy, and they have a great program on arming law enforcement. But I would most certainly think that Glock is in the top three, and you may have some SIGs. There's several major law enforcement providers out there, from Smith and Wesson to Glock to SIG, and that provide firearms to law enforcement.
And Boston is saying by seeing this, he's right-handed.
Yes.
So, Melissa, no, it's not a bracelet. This is my ticker for my picture to do different things on there. So not a bracelet here. And I don't know if you're talking about this being a bracelet.
No, I think she saw where your toolbar is across my wrist.
Okay.
They thought I was wearing a bracelet.
Yeah, no, not a bracelet.
It's not a bracelet.
What about his pocket, Steve? Am I the only one that sees a clear outside inside the pocket?
I looked at that and I discussed it with Fig about that. And it could or could not be that you can see an outline at one point in a gun in his pocket. Could have been, may not have been. There wasn't much I could do with that. That when I was doing those tests, I mean, I could go in there and most certainly speculate, was that him holding the gun in his pocket at that time? Could be, could not be, but I can most certainly speculate on that once the gun is in view and as being presented of what it is.
Yeah.
Question: what would a military person use? I'll go ahead and answer that one from my experience. Even though I've been out 30 years, when I was in, the MPs, medics, and all used 45 caliber automatics, and I'm sure they've upgraded to probably 9mm of some sort in this day and age.
They went to the Beretta 92, I believe.
Okay.
And RJ says, man, it's like I can even see the trigger finger section, which, yes, that would be it. Or that would be it right here.
Where the knuckles are?
Yep. And then he says, almost see the thumb curl around the other side.
Yeah, the thumb curl around the grip.
Mm-hmm.
Up at the
Yep.
up here, to your left, up around the back of
Right here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
that's up on the back strap of the gun, up under the tang.
Not sure what a tang is, but okay.
There's a little place that's on semi-automatic pistols. There's a little tang that hangs over your gun, so that when you get a high grip, you don't go up to where when the slide comes back, it bites you, which means it'll put really tight and make you bleed. And it's not good to get your gun bloody every time you shoot it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the
Kathy
purpose.
says,
You don't want the slide coming back and clipping your the web of your thumb and your index finger.
Kathy says, Glock feels good holding it. I have to agree. I fired a Glock and I like those.
I got me a Smith & Wesson 40. So.
Well, the whole point of this is that if digital editing occurred, it had to occur for a reason. And this is a reason. If there wasn't anything in his right hand, there's no need to be digital editing. And the supporting evidence that they did it is from the shadows. Do I have something that supports that shadow is a firearm? Yes. Do I have something that supports that he was holding the gun in his right hand? From what I've looked at and from what I've developed, yes.
So I zoomed it out for Walker Homestead, he asked me to, so I zoomed it out a little bit for him. What guns did old Klein have? Who knows? Do we know what type of gun KK has in his picture? Frank Meister, do you know?
Yeah, I've seen the picture. It looks like a 9mm, but I can't be for sure on that.
Okay. Randy, what are your thoughts on that?
It's surprising why it's just. You thought they would want everybody seeing the cover of this weapon, and still to find out they didn't really cover up very well.
They did a pretty good job. I was lucky. My eyes, I'm gonna have to go get my eyes checked because they about wore me out.
But I was looking here online and see what the DNR officer had. They use a Glock 2. They use a Glock also.
Let me explain something to you also about some of the statements that were made by police first at this. They were talking about the courage that Libby showed when she was doing this video. This explains a lot of what they were talking about. I have faced a lot of men with guns in my life, but a girl of her age having the fortitude and the courage, seeing someone walk towards her with a firearm and has the nerve and the intellect to be able to maintain her nerve, photograph it, and maybe even use it as a bargaining tool that I've got you on camera, bud, don't do anything. I don't know if that was said or if that was part of her process, but I cannot, I've known people throughout my life that were good, brave men and women that wouldn't have had the nerve to do that. And it is absolutely that Libby, the fortitude that she showed in this, that how they described her, this absolutely makes sense.
Digital, I'm going to have to look back at the picture and see and send it to Frank Meister and then to have him tell me what kind of gun it is, if there is one in the picture.
There is. I got that picture. He's got scalpels. He's got knives. He's got some type of semi-automatic weapon laying on a table. Oh, yeah, I've got that picture.
Do you think Abby and Libby studying CSI have anything to do with this crime? No, but I think the fact that they did watch it, or Libby did watch it, made her pull out that camera and start that phone and start taking video.
The one thing I wish she did, like Cheyenne, if she took a picture on the second platform, it would have helped see where the killer was standing at.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been helpful.
Why would BG leave the phone at the crime scene? He probably saw them taking pictures on the bridge.
Yeah, he did.
You would have thought he would have seen them. That's for sure. I have a taser and pepper spray bracelet. The sad part is I would probably use it on myself instead of a perp due to fear. Oh, no. Let's see here. Libby is definitely brave and a hero. Who knows how many kiddos have been spared from online pedos activity too. True. True. Am I still the only one who sees someone at the end of that bridge? I do. Randy, what's at the end of the bridge?
That tree behind the barricade.
There's a tree, and there's a little smaller tree down below, but you have the railroad company took some railroad tracks and welded them together to make a fence, a little iron fence.
We've got the picture showing that there's a tree directly behind that barricade.
Let me see here. Let me see.
At Steve, do you see any indication that there is a person looking over the bridge in which you only see his left side?
I don't know. I don't know what part and what video or what image they're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, Boston, I'm right there with you. Do you guys have close-up pics of that from when you were there? Okay, specify what, Melissa, because the area that we're talking about, where there was a barrier and the trees is gone.
Okay.
So it's not there anymore.
I'm sending it to you right now, so they can see what it looks like.
Randy messaged you. Aha. Just a minute. Okay. So that picture's.
This is the north end of the bridge.
Yeah. So the picture is pointing back towards this barrier where there's this tree here and there's this post here. And I actually thought it was a person too until I saw this picture. But this stuff is no longer there.
The tree's gone. The barricade's gone.
Well, the barricade's still there. It's leaning against the tree.
But it's off to the side. Yeah, it's leaning back over in the woods.
But that's what the killer saw straight through that barricade to watch the girls. You can see if the girls are still on there, you can see they can be watched, what they're doing.
All right, sorry, had a question. Okay, so when you look at the picture of Abby on the bridge, oh yeah, we just covered that. Okay. Wishing the cursor I would be larger and brighter.
You can actually make a cursor bigger.
That would be real good. And then I wouldn't be able to turn it back to the way it is, and then it'd drive me nuts all day at work.
Yeah, that's Melissa. That is
Yes.
the picture. If you're on the bridge looking back toward the north end,
that's the north end. We're looking at the south.
This is the end where bridge guy would have started walking across the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
towards
north.
the girls.
That's north looking to the south.
And the south end has the same type of barricade on the other side.
Yes. I didn't even cross the bridge and I could see it.
Yeah. That's why I said you pretty much can see from the north end to the south and all the way down.
Did you read Judy? How many believe BG's watching YouTube?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, I'm absolutely positive he probably more
Yep.
likely is.
He's been watching
Yep.
us since we got started with this case.
Exactly. And he's laughing at all of us right now.
Oh yeah. And to be the day that the cops be laughing at him breaking down his door.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So
All right,
glad
guys.
that
Let
we
me
could
put
give
this
you
in.
this information. Steve, phenomenal job.
Phenomenal. We do want to say, guys, we are going to cut it short tonight, another maybe 10 minutes, because Marv's husband has to use the computer for his work. Hate to cut it off so soon, but we plan on Thursday possibly having another live for call-ins and Q&As.
Yep. So, if you like what you see and you think Steve's right on, or even if you don't like what you see and you don't think he's right on, share this information out.
Melissa W., I believe that BG's in our chat too. We just don't know who he is.
He won't be.
Yep.
He's somewhere out there using a fake name.
Thanks, RJ. We appreciate that. We had some rough times between Saturday night and Monday. Believe me, buddy.
Yes, we did.
It was rough, but we got it handled. You know, it just shows the professionalism of us. We're not going to go out there and start docking people. Our channel is a chill channel. We don't have no arguing, no fighting amongst each other in the chats, no negativity, and it's going to stay that way. And if people do not agree with our standards and our channel, you don't have to come to our channel. You don't have to subscribe. Just plain as day. Not being rude. I'm being respectful. But if I see somebody in the chat acting ridiculous and wants to start drama, you'll be out of there in a heartbeat.
Hey, Steve, here's a big compliment for you. I wish Steve were with Delphi LE because it had been solved.
You're just speechless.
Well, I believe that there are professionals there. There's guys that's in law enforcement, younger than me, brighter than me. You've got, and I know for a fact that when you look at the collective, of course, there's some individuals that have certain skill sets in certain areas, but there's no way in the world that I would love to be a part of that team, because I have been parts of a phenomenal team in my life. But I realize that being part of that team, I'm just a small part of the collective intellectual IQ of a group. And I think they're running it and they're doing what they think best. And they have to live with the fact of what they release and what they don't. But like I said, I had to come to some hard decisions of why I did this one. It's 5 years later. I think it needs to be out there and be focused on. But they're doing, I honestly believe they're doing the best they can with what they've got. And we shouldn't ever think that just one individual, such as myself, could solve it. There's someone out there that has that one bit of information, just like Carter says. And I always remember that he's the head guy and he's looking for that one clue. And I want y'all to spread this word and find out what that one clue is and call it in so that we can get justice for those two girls, those innocent victims, and bring some comfort to the families, or whatever comfort can be, because it can't be much, but get this bad guy off the road.
Yeah.
I want to reply to a comment that Digital had made. He asked if we watched the UAP videos. Yes, I watched the UAP videos about the gas masks, the canisters, and I would have to totally disagree just from my experience in the military and having to wear a gas mask all the time. if that is actually BG's voice on the audio, he wouldn't have been wearing a gas mask. If you're wearing a gas mask, you're going to be all muffled to where you can barely hear him.
It won't be awesome. You'll be able to see the photo, him wearing one.
Right.
Right.
The bridge.
TTM fangirl. So glad you brought this up. If anybody can find the helicopter footage and send it to us, we would appreciate it because we searched for hours and it seems to be gone. So we would love to send that to Steve and to, I promised it to Monsters Under Our Bed. So if anybody can find it on YouTube, please send it our way.
Melissa W. wants to know, we know Ellie knows more obviously, but what else do they know? Honestly, we can't answer that question because we don't know what they have. And it's like they're throwing little bitty pieces of snacks at us and wanting us to figure it out, and that's all they're giving us. They're not giving anything that we could really look into.
Well, it took them 3 years to give us what they could at the beginning of the entire thing.
What Vid Inquiry says, what I meant was BG will be orange like a pumpkin in his new jumpsuit come harvest time.
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Support Mustafa. There's a video out there, helicopter video footage, and it showed the actual crime scene, supposedly with the girls laying there and supposedly with a teddy bear there and everything. It was out there forever, and we went looking for it a couple nights ago. We spent a couple hours looking for it, and it's almost like they just took it down. We can't find it now.
Sean says this is the only channel to look forward to. Great job, guys. Thank you all so much. I've seen lots of comments. And wait, don't go. Okay. Seen lots of comments of his support. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. If you're late, please feel free to go back and watch the video. Go back and watch part 2 of the other video if you missed it. We are going to do a call-in and question and answer show on Thursday, so you'll still be able to get questions answered. We know Ellie knows more, obviously. What else do they know? That is the loaded question of the day.
That's the lottery question, Melissa.
Elaine says, new to this channel and have enjoyed your views and perspective on this case. You guys are logical and methodical in your views. Whatever it takes to solve this horrific crime. Thank you, Elaine, for joining us, and thank you for the compliments.
Melissa,
yes, Raggedy Susan, we are talking about the TV. No, not the TV, not the
WRTV.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
WRTV.
not that one.
No.
There's another one. You and I couldn't find it.
My understanding, Melissa, yes, they have more on Libby's phone, but we just don't know how much.
No. Well,
yes, at the beginning of the video, it has the searchers walking through the river, and then all of a sudden it flies over to where the girls were found and is hovering right above it, and it shows everything, but we don't know if that was altered or what it is. But it does clearly show a teddy bear sitting down there, but from my understanding, that's been debunked. But we're not 100% positive on that. Yep, CTTM fangirl said the video's gone now.
Yep, but TT on Fangirl said it's on a channel called Devil's Hop Yard. So I'm
Vanessa
gonna,
has it.
I will go check to see maybe if they streamed it.
Then inquiries. My name is Frank Meister, and I got Frankenstein in the background behind me.
He's still trying to get his computer to work to be able to have the whole access.
I haven't figured out the horns and the whistles of this computer yet, so.
All right, Blade, that's enough of you.
Hey, that's enough. Let me mute.
Well, he's not, at least not by the window. At least.
Oh, he's over at the window.
Oh, he's over the window. Okay.
Vanessa, send it. Nope, wrong one. Send it to one of the, or all of these email addresses, actually. Eric Alter is Bridge Guy.
That's old
That-
news.
Okay, I was going to say that.
No. Don't get him started.
Frank's got green hair.
Here, I'm sitting here talking and had my shit on mute the whole time.
Way to go.
The video is
All
about
right.
3 to 4 minutes long, Miss Sheila Jones.
Yeah, and it's a video, and then at the end it's like snapshot or snap shots
Yeah.
of different things.
Yeah,
So,
they had to get it after the Indiana State Police helicopter flew by in order to get what they need to get.
missed the local news does report on it. It's just when something happens, and it's usually like 3 or 4 weeks or a month after the fact, right, Randy?
Right? Oh, yeah.
They were
Just
about
like
3
when-
weeks to a month behind on the transcripts, weren't they?
Yeah, they were like about 2 weeks behind on that, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll check with Sunny too. All right. Well, I hate to cut it short, but we've got to go. Like I said, Thursday we're going to do a question and answer live call-in show. So,
You want to go
I'll
ahead
be
and set the
putting
time
out
for that now?
yeah, we'll do it at our normal time, 7 my time, 8 your time.
Okay.
Okay. Want to appreciate you coming on, Steve, and giving us a
Yes.
rundown of the information that you had uncovered. And look forward to having you on here many more times, sir.
Anything I can do to help bring this case to an end, I will do.
Cool.
Much appreciated.
Yes.
She's so funny. She called going, "Hey, Frank, green monster behind you." Oh, all right, everybody. On that note, we're going to sign off for tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing.
Peace out, one love, people.
Talk to y'all later. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.